Hello, everyone, and welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Bud Evans. I am the host of the Aim High podcast and South Jersey Real Estate Investor Network participant. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Phil Tudor. How are you today, Coach Phil?
Doing great. How's everybody doing out there? Glad to be here for another Saturday.
Yeah, man, right? Hey, listen, we're doing this every Saturday, guys, with the intent of bringing you a little bit of extra added value in both the South Jersey Real Estate Investors Network or the Aim High network of real estate investors, the Aim High REI. Guys, if you're watching on either channel, welcome to the stream. Phil, I got to ask you a question, man. I'm feeling a little tired today, but I want to go out and walk some houses. What do you think an option would be?
Get over your tiredness. Don't go walk them.
Right.
Virtually walk them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. What are you thinking?
Yeah, man. So like, I guess I could get on Google Maps and see, maybe just go driving for dollars instead, but I'm, not exactly feeling it. I know I look pretty energetic because I'm on here and I'm hanging out with you and I'm hanging out with the guys in the chats. But Phil, what if I told you that I could get somebody else to walk the properties for you and, maybe even have some listings in their pocket or know people who might have listings for you?
That would sound amazing.
Yeah, right.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, buddy. So let's talk about buyer's agents, right? So we all know what a seller's agent is, right? They're the people that I need to sell my house and I want to do it now. And I'm going to call somebody. I don't care if it's a friend or a friend of a friend or a friend's friend's friend. And we're going to get them to come in and check out our house. And they're going to tell us, hey, declutter this and move that over there. And then they're going to put it on the MLS for us. And then they're going to sell it, right? That's pretty standard with what a seller's agent does. And I actually don't mind being a seller's agent because you know exactly what you're dealing with. Buyer's agent, especially investor-friendly agents, if you're an experienced real estate investor, you probably know how to navigate the pitfalls of, a property without needing the help of a buyer's agent. But buyer's agent can be pretty invaluable when it comes down to it because they may go out and knock doors for you because number one, they can get the listing. Number two, they can bring people to you when you're getting ready to sell it. And we can get them a commission on both sides, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just spoke to an agent today about that.
Yeah. So, Phil, have you ever used a buyer's agent to walk properties for you, bring your leads?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like it to the MLS domination system,
Yeah.
in a way. So I definitely am always have feelers out there, and I'm the big type of proponent of like not sticking with just one agent. I like multiple agents, and I try to balance those relationships. I have my key go-to one that gets my listings and whatnot, but all agents are more than welcome to bring me leads and bring me deals,
Yeah, man. And, I had a question the other day about, hey, if you're dealing with a seller's agent, right, how do you do like a sub 2 or a creative finance? It essentially, I know this is kind of off topic, but in that sense, I've kind of got the experience and I'm going to turn this into what it pertains to as a buyer's agent. But as long as that agent is getting their commission, I really don't know that anybody's going to complain about creative finance or how you're going to close the deal as long as somebody's getting a commission. But if you're bringing, you're getting a buyer's agent who's going to go out and shop properties for you and they know they're going to get the commission from the seller. And then they know that if you're flipping the property, that they're going to get a commission on the back end when you flip the property, or if you're renting the property, they know that they can place your tenant and then get a commission for that too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, hey, did you know that fees are negotiable?
I did know that, and I was very glad to have been taught that early on.
Right. Yeah, that's something that I didn't know right early on. I did not know. I had no idea, and it took me a little while to figure out. I actually had my license the first time that I negotiated a commission with an agent.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty. I mean, like, I've talked to another investor recently too about that. She's looking to expand her organization. She was curious on what compensations and stuff are. I'm on a meeting right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
It's live,
is
Phil.
it's live? Yeah. So the beauty of real estate investing is that that's one of my top, 5 favorite aspects of real estate investing is the ability to negotiate. Like, everything is negotiable. It just depends on how you want to position it, and it's the art of understanding what's in it for the other party. And realtors, they break down the numbers, they understand it. And I mean, you tell me, what, like, I just ask. I'm open to it. I'm like, hey, are you open? Are your terms negotiable? And I
Yeah.
let them speak. They'll tell me where they stand with it. Yeah, and every time, I'm telling you, 100% of the time, the answer back is yes. I'm negotiable.
Right. And
Yeah.
Phil, I was talking to a student last night, and we were talking about Justin Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street, the Sell
Hmm.
Me This Pen. And coincidentally, I'm reading the book Ready, Fire, Aim. And in that book, he actually talks about a seller selling a pen in a very high end establishment. He sells someone a Mont Blanc pen. And essentially, it's about the actual need of the individual. It was just, I found it kind of creative. But when it comes down to the three things, my opinion, the three things required for negotiations, especially when you're talking to a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, is for you at least, number one, do the numbers still work?
Hmm.
Okay. Number two, can you get both parties to agree to it? And that's where you have to shut up and listen. And in this particular case, the guy said, hey, listen, we have this pen. I think you would probably enjoy it. It's, and then he just shut up. It was a $2,900 Mont Blanc pen, and the guy bought it. Well, once that happened, the guy went, hey, listen, there's a pencil that goes along with that pen. And by the way, there's a case that comes along with that. And there was a special that ended yesterday, but for you, I'll put it all together and we'll take 10% off. So do the numbers still work? Right.
Hmm.
Second is, can you get both parties to agree to it? And then third, is it legal? And I find that pretty much it's kind of pigeonholing, but at the same time, if all three of those criteria are met, it just kind of works for me. Do
Hmm.
you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is about, when I'm negotiating, or the art of influence, right, is just trying to put myself in their shoes and what's in it for them. So I
Yeah.
literally will ask pretty straightforward questions. You know what I mean? Like, are you getting compensated well enough in this deal? Do you feel it's fair?
Mhm.
I'm more, I stay laser focused on their needs and concerns. And along the way, I'm just listening, like you said, active listening to see if I can somehow find my needs to be met. And I think that at the end of the day, when we talk about relationships or negotiations, step number one is making sure the other party's needs are met. Yes, there are scenarios too where you can find yourself in a position where you don't have to meet their needs, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not going to be a repeat relationship
Yeah.
or repeat business.
Right.
So if you want long lasting relationships, repeat business, in my opinion, that's step number one. You got to check that box. If I
Mhm.
can't meet their needs, then it's not going to work out. Right. And a lot of times I like what you say, like, make sure the numbers work, right, is very important, because a lot of times we can find ourselves forcing deals to work, and then that puts stress on the relationship, puts stress on the negotiation side of things. So there's a couple just fundamental squares to check off. Got to have a good deal with some good meat on the bone, and then negotiations can be opened up, and then find out what their needs and concerns are first.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
points, man. Absolutely great
Hmm.
points. The thing that we're kind of like delving into a different direction, but still keeping it into that buyer's agent and how they can help
Hmm.
you is they can help you actually negotiate. If you're not familiar with, home loans or referring other professionals like solicitors, surveyors, they can actually help you with the purchase process. Title companies, they have them at their disposal. I mean, there are a whole bunch of, especially if they are in tune with investors' needs.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot of benefits that, I mean, I lean on my realtors. I mean, this is on the listing side, but very similar. Or even on the buyer side, they'll represent me the same way of like, hey, we need a fire inspection. Do you want us to order that, or you want to order it? no, you can go ahead and order it and I'll pay you at closing.
Yeah.
So much stress off my plate. They bring a lot of value. Um, because otherwise I'm like, yeah, I have some team members, or people that I use on my Rolodex, for certain aspects of properties and buying on the buying inspection side specifically, I guess we're referencing here. But why not ask for their referral, right?
Right.
They've got working rapport with those individuals. They might have better pricing than me with those individuals. So I love exercising the option if I can, and
Yeah.
asking. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And a buyer's agent can actually make out quite well. I mean, as far as commissions go, because you can buy the house, you get your commission from that. Not only can you help me place tenants, but you can also, because I can guarantee you that the seller's agent may not have thought about this, but where are those people going to live? If they can make a connection with another agent to get the people that are selling you that house, if they can locate another place for them, they can get a referral fee, or they can get a full commission as a seller's agent or as a buyer's agent for them as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just there's always this reciprocal process. You have three parties involved when you really sit down and think about it. It's you, it's the agent, and the property owner. What we're dealing with, whether this is on the buying side or the selling side of the transaction. That is the beauty. And there's opportunities that can be capitalized on, and being conscious of that too is important. I think like maybe for say like you can lend a hand in connecting the dots. I mean, I know we have networks of people, we have a huge, following here in SJ Rian. Aim High is starting to build up its following too. Super grateful for all of you, by the way. And, just by a simple post and sharing something too, maybe we can help people get to the next step, right? So for instance, buying side, right? Literally, I'm talking to an agent today. What's the motive for the seller to sell this property, right? What's going on in her life? What's the next chapter, the next step for him? Well, it's happened to be this one's an estate sale. Her father was a landlord. She's not interested in being a landlord anymore or at all, ever, and just wants to offload the properties. Okay, great. So I understand the motive. But let's say, like you're saying, like if I'm talking to an agent that brings me a listing, or an off-market pocket deal, right, and says that these people need to move into another location. Okay, great. Do you have that next step figured out for them? I'd like to help out if possible, because yeah, you're right. Like now, like if I connect them with somebody here in the SJ Rian community that's got a rental or a house for sale that fits this person's needs, that's moving out, there's a very high probability of the commission of the rental placement or the commission of the next sale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. And Phil, Crystal's saying, do I find it hard to find real estate investor realtors? Or do I educate them first? Like what's in it for them first? A lot of the realtors that she's finding are one-way thinking, and that's absolutely true. Crystal, there are a lot of real estate agents who are just in this, and they're being taught in school that wholesaling is bad, flippers are evil, the evil rental landlord, and I actually went through a course where my instructor was anti-investor. I mean, big time anti-investor. And here I was when I was going through my license, already having 30 flips under my belt going, oh, no, that's absolutely wrong. Luckily, there were 3 other investors in the course, and we all just kind of banded together and dealt with that. But yes, a couple of different things about that. Number one, while we had the Boardwalk Powerhouse, Phil, by the way, again, great job on that one, man. Boardwalk Powerhouse was fantastic. We had a great time. But one of the things in my presentation that just about every slide said, first bullet point was, know what you want. Know what you want. Know what you want. If you are walking into rental properties or flips, know what your buy box is. And if you can educate them on your buy box, then you can create open dialogue and have communications. And yes, you're going to have to educate them, Crystal. Absolutely, you're going to have to educate them. If they are not an investor-friendly agent, it's already an uphill battle. If they are an investor-friendly agent, if they say they're an investor-friendly agent, but they're living in an apartment and they don't own any rental properties and they've never done investing in their life and they don't even have a 401k, they're probably not going to be open to your communications. If they are, wide open, then absolutely bring them information. We can help you out with that. I know Phil's got 2 open spots right now for coaching. I also do, but sign up for the pro membership with SJ Rian. We'll be able to walk you through that. And if not, you can always go over to the property captain and check out his peeps and get into his community and ask these questions as well. Guys, we're all here for you. We will bring you as much knowledge as we possibly can, and we're all always open for conversation. But yeah, Crystal, educating them is a big part of actually getting engaged with good real estate agents. And once you get them on their team, on your team rather, once you get them on your team, then you can, no kidding, just have something like this with I don't care if it's a Zoom call. If you have 5, 6, 7 real estate agents, there's nothing saying that you can't get them all together in the same Zoom and have a conversation about, hey, what do you see investors doing right now? What do you see investors doing right now? It might be a heavy lift, or just have conversations with them periodically. I have mine on, we use a CRM where they get an automatic text message and an automatic email every couple of weeks. And I follow up with a phone call on the off weeks. Hey, Jasmine, how you doing? It's Bud Evans. Just want to find out, if you have anything that meets my criteria. First off, how are you doing today? How has your week been going? What are you doing? Okay, terrific. You still working just primarily the Trenton area? Start there and then work from there. I know Jasmine has rental properties. Very simple conversation to have. She's an investor. I've had other agents where they just never got the point. And even though we tried to have that, that interactive communication and create that win-win situation, they were not open to it. Peace. I got to go.
Yeah.
I got other things to do. I don't have time for you. Right.
Just move on. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to find a lot, like, I don't want to say a lot or put any numbers or anything on this, but like, greed is a son of a gun. That's what kind of comes to my mind first, and it's, if that's the type of realtor that you're approaching or you're finding yourself in front of, and you're feeling that you have to educate them to talk them into doing business with you, it's probably not ever going to work out in the long run, because their mindset is on larger commission checks. Right. And I would also attest to this, that nationwide investors have struggled to find good realtors lately, because the pricing boom with COVID got all of their eyeballs very big to the amount of dollars they can make. And rightfully so. I get it. Why would they want to deal with an investor and with low ball offers all day long when they were getting over asking, multiple offers, in the retail space? Well, what I kept coaching all my students was accept that and understand that that's the lay of the land for right now, but plant a little seed in their mind. Hey, when business slows down, remember, I'll still be buying. Okay. And then they will come back around if they really appreciate that and understand. So educating them first is good. But I think that one thing from my experience, but maybe you can, attest to this too, is that basically what I found was literally just using the phrase of investor friendly. Even when I was looking like, hey, putting out posts like, hey, I'm looking for an investor friendly contractor, I would get a lot of negative response on that. Yeah. So I think you have to come from a different angle, because there's this negative connotation that's built around that phrase, which means you're a cheapskate. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's different. Like when you talk to realtors, hey, what comes to mind when I tell you, say investor, and see where their mindset is, instead of saying, have you ever worked with investors? That's kind of like the intermediate one, versus are you investor friendly? Don't say that at all. No, because it's just got this negative spin to it anymore. So the very first step is not educating, I think, but it's qualifying. Where's their mindset at as a realtor?
Great point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I would agree with that. Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. The education portion would come after the actual, conversation. And like I said, in speaking with Jasmine, hey, how are you doing this week? Right. Just that human interaction before we get into the actual business. You'd be surprised, though, there are some that still want like, hey, dude, I'm busy. What do you got? You know what I mean?
Straight up business. Yeah.
And you know exactly what you're dealing with when you get those guys, right?
But those are fine, too. They got their own way of working, and it's matching energy level. I talk about this the other day, too, in another community of Yasser's community of Coffee with the Captain, about how like matching energy with sellers, in your conversation. If they're speaking high pitched and very fast, you need to match their level. If they're not, they're kind of low, laid back, then you need to be laid back, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just, you got to qualify, right? That's really what I want to get at. Like, understand who you're working with as an individual. And then, if you want to, I don't know, like I said, I don't want to sell a realtor on working with me. I don't know how you feel, Bud, but I don't want to have to sell them on need to work with me. I want them to see that there's something here in this relationship, and then I can wow the heck out of them when we do get in a relationship where it's like, hey, let me teach you a little about creative financing, right? So that now you can find even more deals. We're doing even more volume. We're purchasing 10 plus properties a year, 20 plus properties a year, because I added something to their repertoire. Now, mind you, too, the stuff that you learn as a real estate investor is not only limited to that relationship, but what are they going to do when they learn that tip or trick? They're going to go use that in other scenarios too, and it's going to benefit them across the board.
Right.
So they will catch on pretty quickly when they see how savvy you are and how generous maybe you can be, or a team player in the process.
Yeah, exactly. And the better the interaction, and the better that you make it for them, and the more information that you provide gives them that breadth of knowledge and helps them become a better agent. Absolutely great point, Phil. Absolutely great point. Kimmy, people who don't understand investors are quick to throw stones. They don't understand. They learn on negativity, explain their chosen ignorance, manifesting, putting down real estate investors. Yeah. Unfortunately, we do have a kind of this moniker. It's not even a black cloud. I can't say that because, I stand in the sunlight for now. But you have that. I'll be honest. So if you started flipping somewhere between 2012 and 2019, and then, you probably knew what you were doing. And then if you stopped flipping at around 2019, right before that March 2020 timeframe, and then you're trying to do flipping now, it's a completely different game. If you started in 2019 and went through 2021, 2022, and at the end of 2022, you realized this is not as easy as you thought it was. And right now, in 2023, we are starting to separate the wheat from the chaff as far as investors go. And as far as agents go, they were spoiled, right? So a couple of different things, guys. And so agents could walk into a house, and if they were a seller's agent, they could walk into a house, not stage it, not deal with anything, not make any, and it's as is, no contingencies, no inspections, take it or leave it. Bidding war starts now. You have 3 days to comply, and it's $20,000 above asking price to start, right? That was the norm for the last 2 years. And now it's okay. Days on the market, 21, 30, asking price, maybe.
We're back to the norms.
CO required, inspection, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, and now all of those people that got into this in the very beginnings, in the beginning of COVID, were making money hand over fist. They're like, but that's not the way this is supposed to work. It's exactly the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
The other thing was the interest rates, right? The interest rates at 3%. We were so spoiled for 2-3 years.
Sure. I was just talking with an agent today about this, and I asked her hey, how's business going for you? Like you said, having a general conversation. It's not all about what I want out of the relationship, but I'm curious because I also like to hear a little bit of market feedback directly from an active agent in my local market, or my investing market. So it's right. They, how can I put it? These are experienced realtors I'm talking about, right? When I coach, 101, when I talk about adding this team member, this realtor to your bench, right, to find leads for you, I tell and I recommend that you're looking for the experienced ones in the market, right? You're looking for the ones that are serious about their business, because what it's usually boils down to is they understand and they get it, right? It's fine. Even if they went off on the hiatus for the last 2 years on me and they made a ton of money, great. I'm happy for them. But they know now that the market's cooling back down, I'm still a solid buyer.
Yeah.
And they're still talking to me. There's no feelings hurt in that process. And they still did a little bit of business with me throughout the 2 years there, but I get it. They were busy and they were crushing it. Go for it. Go make your money. I'm all about it. Because I really wasn't picking up too much anyways, because that wasn't a buyer's market. That was a seller's market back then.
Right.
Anyway, so, what I'm getting at is that find the serious agents, to be your buying agents. Find the ones with the marketing and the advertising, because they obviously have an overhead and they're going to look for some baseline business out of investors too, to help cover those expenses,
Right.
Yeah. It's just if we talk numbers, right, on lead generation, it's very relative to this point of when I am looking at my lead graph over the past fiscal year and I say, how many deals did I get on market or off market, right? MLS versus off market. It's always most generally 70% MLS on market, 30% off market, right? The same thing is relative to the realtor side of things, where it's how much business is retail business versus investor business.
Yeah.
If they really open themselves up to all of the customers available, they're going to find investors are going to be more of their baseline of the large chunk, and then the realtors. I mean, obviously, profit margins are different, right? How much money did you make out of that small slice of the pie versus the big slice? We can even be relative too, talking as investors here. You make more profit margins on the smaller 30% of retail deals, or I'm sorry, off market deals, than you do your on market deals, but your on market becomes your mainstay. It's what keeps you in business and going from deal to deal. So that's the thing that experienced realtors will appreciate, is when they have a couple investors in their back pocket that are serious buyers. It keeps their baseline going. And this last point I would like to make is that I talk about a lot with realtors and onboarding is that you finding one that is a broker, right, that has other agents working underneath them will tend to be very valuable for you, because here's why. The busy, experienced agents, yes, get the best retail buyers list, and they make the most profits out of the entire office. Okay, that's rightfully so, because they've earned that badge or earned that stripe. But they're very knowledgeable, and I want to access that knowledge. But there's most likely an agent underneath of them that they get a cut off of it. I believe, if I know how this works right, let me know if I'm incorrect here, bud. But that newer agent can be tasked with a lot of the mundane things for investors that we need, right? Walking the property, giving us comps analysis and things like that. So what I'm trying to get at is that they will assign somebody underneath them and underneath their license in their team to do these rudimentary things for the investor. But then we still have access to the knowledgeable realtor at the top of the heap. So that can be a way, Crystal, to help be creative. Like, you can ask, do you have a team of agents that work for you? Do you have some newer agents that wouldn't mind putting out a volume of offers, and writing offers?
Yeah. And dude, like, I'm not pitching any particular agency or brokerage. I've worked with Keller Williams. I've worked with EXP, currently with Prime Realty Partners out of Haddonfield. Mark Ricci's awesome. Just throwing a plug. But the thing is this, right? So you've got these teams, these groups that form. And if I'm the lead guy, right, if I'm the top guy, it actually pays for me to go like, okay, we got a lead. Great. Hey, thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. I'm going to send John out, and he's going to walk that property, knock on that door, check and make sure that we're good to go with that, and see if we can get you that property, right? Couple of things. Number one, as the team lead, I'm going to get a portion of his income, right? Because that's the way those systems work. I might even get a referral if I'm doing that, right? So the more people that I can bring, the more buys that I'm going to have through this team, the more money that lead gets. So if you have one guy and he's got a team and he can dish it out to each person, he doesn't even have to leave his office and he's making money hand over fist.
Yep. Yeah. But so I just wanted to make that point, that caveat there to you, Crystal, or whoever else listening to here, is that, if you find an investor-friendly realtor, maybe they're new, young, and hungry, and are building their buyers list, might not necessarily be the best thing either, because you also need that coupled with experience. When we're looking at our buyers agents, that's one of my characteristics I'm looking for. Like I talk about onboarding of contractors, a lot of people, it's no different for realtors, which is write down your top 10 characteristics of them. Who's the ideal quintessential realtor for you, and use that when you're going out there to interview or find them. Keep that in the back of your mind. You're never going to find like a 10 out of 10 usually, though, but you want to look for your 7, 8, 9 out of 10s, that are going to meet those requirements for you to have a good relation. And like I said, for me, it's experience. If they know how to work with investors, but it's experience of the market. I think it's the most. That's like, if they don't check that box, I can't work with them. I'm sorry. I lean so much on that information. It is crucial. I like I said today, I have tools. We all get in this game, right, bud? And we have these tools. You got PropStream, you got RealFlow, you got whatever tools you want for evaluating a deal. But there's nothing more valuable than an active agent verifying and giving you feedback. Nothing more valuable than that, in my opinion. Yeah. They will save you lots of issues and lots of headaches if you listen to what they're telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're at the closing tables. They know what's going on.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of information that goes back and forth, and it could save you a lot of time, money, and headaches in the long run.
Yep.
So
good stuff.
Yeah. So for those of you with limited experience, absolutely make sure that that you're checking that out, because this should be just another arrow in the quiver, so to speak. Just you're piling up your tools, and Phil, I believe we have a spreadsheet, don't we, that we use with our top 25 agents, our, our local agents, our high level agents, and all that kind of stuff. I believe we have that. Spreadsheet. I think
That's
it's in the
so much
member
information
portal.
in there. We'll check
Right.
it out. Yeah, but we're going to keep on building that out for you guys there. There's, individual aspects and tools. Yeah, I have contractor onboarding spreadsheets. I know, like you want to track this stuff. If you're interviewing 15 realtors out there at the same time, you want to be able to track this and organize it and categorize it. So, Bud is a systems, advocate himself too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're using a CRM called Go High Level, and we have automations. We can, drop names in there,
Mhm.
tag them as an agent, and then boom, it's on. Every couple of weeks they're getting a notification like, hey, Bud's reaching out. They just wanted to say hi, make sure everything's
Yep.
going okay, find out how you're doing, and
Yep.
then that'll follow up with an email. Hey, it's Bud, texted you, wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that you were still aware of what I'm looking for. Oh, by the way, hey, here's some information I just saw from the Fred. Didn't know if you were interested in it, right? And it's so simple to just that little bit of communication. I don't
Oh
care if you
yeah.
read that article, dude. I don't care, right? It's not about that. It's about having that communication. And oh, by the
That
way, when they
connection.
email
Yep.
me back or they text me back, it goes right to my cell phone. It goes right to my watch. Hey, Chris just texted me back and said, hey, Bud, yeah, great article. Saw that. Noticed that the Fed's meeting in what is it, 2 weeks, I think. Fed's meeting in 2 weeks and looking at a half a point.
Mhm.
Anything more will probably hurt the market. Anything less will probably blow the market up. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think what we're talking about today for everyone too to like help you out, because I know there's a myriad of people that watch these videos, whether you're super experienced, or you're brand new to the game, right? Most of you are probably brand new to the game, if I were to guess. Like what Bud talks about, like I'm working my CRM too, Bud, like I'm building it out, but that takes time to get to that point, and you have to do the grassroots stuff first, right? You
yeah,
have to go through these things first. Bud, I'm sure you could tell us stories, to save time. We won't do it right now, but I'm sure there's countless stories you could tell us of how you did the traditional handshake, make a phone call to a realtor or whatnot,
yeah,
and overall, like one of the most valuable concepts that like, opened up a lot of avenues for me in this real estate investing business was it wasn't about what I can do as a real estate investor, but
mhm,
it's about the people that I can link up with and do business with. Okay.
yeah,
So that widens your horizons tremendously. So I think about like lenders, like specifically, like I can pick up a phone that I've done business with a lender, right? Yet you got to do business with them eventually, though. Let me just make that caveat. Like you can't
yeah,
just keep getting free information. You got to do some business and you'll get over that hump. Trust me, if you're brand new, you haven't done a deal yet, you get over that hump, and you start building on those individual relationships from that first deal, that second, that third deal. But it starts to pay dividends down the road because think about it. Like Bud now or we're not out there, trying to generate all of our own leads to ourselves. You know what I mean? Now we have agents out there working, looking for leads for us, right? And then maybe we have a lender or whatever. I want to stay on topic of agents, but like what I'm saying, it's these relationships. So what I attested to, I love using this example, Bud, is most everybody, if you're not involved in sports or anything like that, you know who the '93 Bulls were, and you know who Michael Jordan is, right?
mhm,
He's an icon in the game, whether you're a huge fan of the game or not. Michael Jordan was on a very successful team. So what I like to resemble this to is you are the coach of the '93 Bulls, and your job is to find the best players to put on your bench, so that when the time comes right, you can then hit the championships very quickly on in this
mhm,
process. So the skill set to learn as an investor here is not necessarily everything that you have to do yourself. Like, how do I evaluate a deal? And like, honestly, if you don't even know how to evaluate a deal yet, a realtor knows how to evaluate a deal. All you need to learn how to do is have good communication skills and build these relationships with these people, and that's why we're talking about buyers agents today and being able to, build that bridge and that relationship right there, because they're going to just open up the doors to you that you didn't realize. And you're going to learn a lot from them as well. you know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And dude, that's the Bulls. It's funny because I'm doing a presentation on mindset at 3 o'clock
Mhm.
today for Homeschooled by Tarek, and one of the examples is Michael Jordan. That's
I,
the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset, which we kind of talked about last week a little bit, and then
That's funny.
regret and how it's a powerful motivator. But yeah, dude, that's a great point. Would they have 10 losses? I think all year, 93.
Yeah.
right?
It was insane. I mean, he's just the coach was really good, and he found the prospects and got them to come play for him. When
Mhm.
he put Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan all on one team, all of a sudden there's multiple championships in a very, very short period of time, and a hard to perform as in an arena. And real estate investing is very similar to the analogy. It's a hard to perform arena to be successful in. So you got to surround yourself with these other successful team members, and it's contractors, realtors, and lenders. That's it. Those three people you want to focus on. So maybe in the future weeks here we can get on contractors and lenders too, and share some value there to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. But well, buddy, I think we've given out a little bit of valuable information. If you guys have any questions, check out sjrein.com, right? And sign in. Also, the Facebook page, guys, jump on there, check it out. There's a bunch of information going back and forth. Or at Aim High REI, I'm bringing together a bunch of real estate professionals, and it is just going to be Q&A. There will be no solicitations, no wholesales, none of that stuff. So I'm putting together some high-powered people with some new people, and we're going to have just a conversation in that arena. It's also got the podcast in there, the YouTube channel. All that stuff is going to be linked. Check it out. And if you're ready, Phil, then we can sum it up.
Yeah, well, I just want to just echo that too. Like, just get involved in a community. You got questions, put them out there. Not everything has to be for hire here. I don't want anybody to think that. I mean, like, I'm very selective on who I coach. I know Bud is too. Like, that's a specific caveat to what we're doing here. We want a community where people can openly ask questions, get some good feedback, wholesome, people in the community. I'll let you know today, I am monitoring that those people that are in our group. If I see nonsense, like I see those, I don't even know what you want to call them, trolling commenters about, oh, this person maybe made $1 million. Delete, you're gone. You're out of our community. I mean, what I want is good, wholesome conversation. So get involved, ask questions. There's a lot of people. There's 2,500 people in this group here, and a very good portion of them are very experienced investors. So, if you're new, just get in and start communicating with these people and stuff like that, and you're going to gain a lot of value. And I would say this, as we're turning the corner here into the new year, we're going to be doing live events again. So there's going to be some more live events coming up. I haven't, really planned them out. Me and Bud are going to be talking about that stuff, but I know that there's a need for that. This is great, this virtual interaction, but the face-to-face interaction, there's nothing like it. And we love it when you guys get together with us too. So stay tuned. I'm sure there's gonna be some stuff coming up here in the next few months, some live events. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a great day. I'm Coach Phil.
I'm Coach Bud. Aim high.